What's up you guys, my name is Mark and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I turn this arc lighter into this Harry Potter wand that shoots real fireballs. Enjoy. Have you seen those ads on social media selling Harry Potter wands that shoot real fire out of the end of them? Well, if you're like me, you think this is pretty freaking cool, but you don't want to spend upwards of $200 to buy something like that. So, I decided to make one for myself, for less than $20. Utilizing free CAD software, a 3D printer, and a soldering iron, I was able to turn this arc lighter I got on Amazon for $15 into this wand. I started by looking for free CAD files of a Harry Potter wand on Thingiverse. Once I found some files that I liked, I imported them into Fusion 360 to do some modifications. Before I started making some modifications to the wand in CAD, I took apart the arc lighter to see what sort of internals I was dealing with. Taking apart the arc lighter was pretty self-explanatory because there were only a few screws and everything ended up coming apart super easily. This arc lighter actually had a safety switch, so I wanted to incorporate that into my wand design. After everything was disassembled, I took a few measurements just to make sure that everything was going to fit inside the wand. I noticed that the tip of the arc lighter was too big to fit into the aluminum tube that I planned to use for the wand barrel, so I had to custom make that part, but more on that later. Once the wand files were in Fusion 360, I scaled the model and split it in half. After it was scaled to my liking, I shelled it and made 2 small holes on each half of the wand to make room for the trigger and safety buttons. I also cut away some material from the end of the wand to make enough space for the arc lighter's charging port. I modeled up some makeshift buttons and designed a smaller lighter tip that fit inside my aluminum tube. And after that, we were ready to print. After everything was printed, I did a test fit to make sure that all the lighter components fit inside the wand. The charging port on the lighter didn't reach to the end of the wand, so the wires were cut and extended. Once fitment was confirmed, the 3D printed tip was installed on the end of the arc lighter and all the wand pieces were primed and sanded. If you guys are enjoying this video so far, please give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel for more content. It helps promote my videos and I really appreciate all the After the wand was primed and sanded, the aluminum rod was attached to the tip of the lighter and all the parts were hot glued to the 3D printed wand shell. After doing a quick spell test, I confirmed that everything was working as it should be. So at this point you might be wondering, Mark, where does the fire come from? The answer is flash paper. Flash paper is a very thin paper that's treated with chemicals so that it actually disintegrates upon ignition. I can show you how this works by taking a small piece and lighting it on fire. And it's gone. It's gone. It's most typically often used by magicians during magic shows. To get fire to come out of the end of the wand, a little piece of flash paper is crumpled up and inserted into the barrel of the wand. A small aluminum rod is used to force the wad of paper down until it comes in contact with the arc lighter tip, almost like loading a musket. Then, when the lighter is activated, the paper is ignited and the pressure from the tube propels the paper out of the barrel and into the air as a ball of fire. I used a soldering iron to weld the 2 halves of the wand together, followed by a coat of primer and then more sanding. I painted the wand using brown spray paint and added some detail accenting using black, green, and yellow acrylic paint. I lightly brushed the paint on and wiped it off using a paper towel to give the wand a slightly more realistic appearance. So I really like that the wand shot real fire, but I really wanted it to look more like a Harry Potter spell. What I ended up doing to try to achieve this is I mixed some boric acid and some antifreeze to create something that I like to call Shrek Fire.
Shrek Fire.
When combined and set on fire, these chemicals burn a really bright green color, which I think looks just like a wizard spell. My plan was to take the flash paper and soak it in this chemical solution in hopes that the paper would burn green after it dried. Well, it didn't work out like I was hoping it would. It only changed the tint of the flame slightly and it ended up burning more yellow than green, which was kind of disappointing. I could probably figure out a way to get this to work and burn green, but I didn't really feel like investing the time to do so and I just left it as it is. If you have any recommendations for me, please feel free to drop them in the comments below. To give you an overview of how this works, there are buttons on either side. One of them is a safety button and the other one is the trigger. The safety button, when pressed, ignites these little blue dots right here. Once the safety button is pressed and you see that the blue lights are ignited, you can press the ignition button, and if it's loaded with paper, it'll fire a fireball. There's also a charging port at the bottom so that in theory you should never have to take this wand apart, and it is good to go as it is. Now that I've given you the lowdown on this baby, let's go cast some spells.
I'm already filming. Take 8,000.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends and family. Subscribe for more content, and I will see you in the next video. Stay classy.